there's a misconception, I think, in the fitness world where if you're going to do strength training, you can't do any cardio. If you're doing cardio, you shouldn't do strength training, especially heavy loads. If you are going to do strength training, then you should just lift heavy in a power base, and you shouldn't do hypertrophy, or you should just do hypertrophy to failure. But it's not a linear progression of things. We have to look at completely altering and changing things up as we go. So when we're looking at the higher reps and the lower loads in the beginning program, it's because we don't want injury. 2, we want people to learn how to move properly. How do you squat? What is your depth? What are your sticking points? Do we have to work on mobility? How's your core strength? Because we're not going to put you under load if you are bendy and not like a bamboo straw. So when we're looking at how the body responds to it, your body responds to load, and it doesn't matter if it's high or low load. But what kind of adaptations do we want? That's why we want to build women into lifting heavier in the power-based stuff, but not staying in that high loading and lower rep range for the rest of their life. Right? We need to have a periodization, which is what you're so great at doing and prescribing in the programs. So we build up, and then we work on our max strength, and then we have a recovery deload. Maybe we're doing some higher reps there. Maybe we're doing some cluster sets. Maybe we're doing some ballistic movements, and then we can rebuild. Because part of it is we want that central nervous system response to actually take the place of estrogen to build the lean mass in the bone. But then we also want to have different stimulus so that the neuromuscular connections also are having a challenge instead of just always recruiting as many muscle fibers as possible.
Yes.
And I think people get confused when they're like, wait, I just want to lift heavy. First, we need to make sure your body's really stress resilient enough to take on those loads.
Yeah.
And as you're taking those loads on, we have to back it off a little so that you can become more stress resilient.
Well, and I think what I love that you just said is to be able to give women the freedom to say, listen, there's no possible way that we could come up with one program that would cover everything and that would be suitable for every single female in their specific situation. So the goal really is, as we get women into strength training, and I would love to hear your point on this as well, is to come in at the level that you are comfortable doing. And yes, we want to push you. And yes, at some point we want to mix in these lower rep ranges or mid rep ranges, but it's a different purpose. If you have an injury, maybe you're not doing low reps for X amount of months while you're recovering. Or, if you're trying to work on some stability muscles that require a bit of time to stabilize, then maybe you're doing some higher reps there, but that's not where we're staying in those, 20, 30 rep ranges. Now,